It was the kind of news that shook Thornton Township.
Tiffany Henyard's time as the leader of Dalton and Thornton Township was both divisive and controversial, ultimately ending in her dramatic arrest, a downfall that left both communities struggling with the consequences of her administration. Henyard's leadership was characterized by financial scandals, conflicts with critics, and allegations of mismanagement. As time went on, reports of questionable spending raised concerns about the handling of public funds. What started as a suspicious transactions and soon escalated into a full-scale investigation, uncovering misuse of taxpayer money, alleged personal expenses, and efforts to block financial inquiries. One of the most shocking incidents involved a $43,000 shopping spree on Amazon, which was charged to municipal accounts. This outraged both residents and watchdog organizations, who saw it as a blatant misuse of taxpayer dollars. The community was not only angered by the excessive spending, but also by the lack of fiscal responsibility and transparency displayed by Henyard's administration. Another heavily criticized decision was her $2 million skating rink project, which became a symbol of reckless spending. Many residents questioned the necessity of such a costly venture, especially when more urgent community needs were being ignored. The rink was widely perceived as a vanity project, primarily used during Henyard's personal events, further fueling accusations that it was designed to boost her image rather than benefit the public. Concerns over financial mismanagement continued to grow, leading to an atmosphere of distrust and frustration among residents. Eventually, federal authorities intervened, launching a thorough investigation into Henyard's financial activities. The findings revealed a pattern of behavior suggesting public funds were used for personal expenses, deepening public anger and further damaging her credibility. Despite overwhelming evidence, Henyard remained defiant, insisting she was the target of politically motivated attacks. She went so far as to announce her candidacy for re-election in 2025, claiming the allegations against her were part of a conspiracy to derail her leadership. However, as the investigation progressed, and more damning evidence surfaced, her downfall became inevitable. Her arrest was the final chapter in a saga of financial scandals, political blunders, and conflicts with critics. For many residents of Dalton and Thornton Township, her arrest represented long overdue accountability, a step toward restoring transparency and ethical governance. However, loyal supporters refused to believe she was guilty, holding on to the hope that she was being unfairly targeted. Throughout her tenure, Henyard's leadership style was as controversial as her decisions. She frequently clashed with the Dalton Village Board of Trustees and other local officials, creating an environment of dysfunction. Her uncompromising nature and refusal to back down made it difficult to achieve cooperation or consensus, worsening the township's existing challenges. While her supporters praised her as a bold, risk-taking leader who worked to improve the community, her critics saw her as reckless and self-serving. They argued that projects like the $2 million skating rink were designed more for self-promotion than public benefit. The $43,000 Amazon spending spree and the controversial rink project became symbols of an administration accused of prioritizing personal ambition over public service. Now, as Dalton and Thornton Township move forward, residents must decide, will this be a turning point for reform, or will division continue? One thing is certain: Tiffany Henyard's leadership will be remembered for better or worse. Tiffany Henyard's time in office as the leader of Dalton and Thornton Township was filled with controversy, division, and scandal, ultimately leading to her dramatic downfall. Many of her inactions and decisions were seen as clear examples of abuse of power for personal gain. Beyond financial scandals, her leadership was also marked by failed promises and incomplete projects she had pledged to improve, local infrastructure, enhance public services, and create new economic opportunities. Yet many of these initiatives were delayed or abandoned. This lack of follow-through deepened public distrust and reinforced the belief that her administration was plagued by incompetence and mismanagement. As how investigations into her financial dealings progressed, the sense of betrayal among residents only grew stronger. A federal probe uncovered side evidence of misused public funds, including allegations that Henyard had used township money for personal expenses. These revelations raised serious concerns about the integrity of her leadership and the oversight of government finances. Investigators also found software patterns of obstruction, with Henyard allegedly attempting to block inquiries into her financial practices, further damaging her credibility and reputation. Now, as Henyard faces serious legal battles, the impact of her administration continues to be felt across Dalton and Thornton Township. The scandal surrounding her leadership has left deep divisions in the community, forcing residents to confront the consequences of her actions. While some believe her arrest was necessary for accountability, others question whether all the facts have truly been uncovered. With Henyard's downfall, the communities of Dalton and Thornton Township now stand at a wide crossroads. Once viewed as a promising leader who could bring change and progress, she has now become a one symbol of political failure and scandal. As legal proceedings unfold, residents must decide how to move forward and whether they can or restore trust in local government. Henyard's and fall from grace represents a major turning point, forcing the community to grapple with the need for greater transparency, accountability, and responsible governance. Once seen as an ambitious and promising politician, Henyard's legacy will now be defined by controversy and scandal, the very forces that led to her arrest and the unraveling of her career. Her time as mayor of Dalton and supervisor of Thornton Township was marked by growing tensions, contentious leadership, and increasing scandals, all of which ultimately contributed to her dramatic fall. Over time, Henyard alienated many of her strongest supporters, including members of the Township's Board of Trustees, who grew frustrated with what they saw as her authoritarian leadership style. Her refusal to engage in collaboration, her confrontational rhetoric, and her alleged retaliation against critics created a toxic political environment that weakened the effectiveness of her administration. This divisiveness, combined with financial mismanagement and corruption allegations, led to her eventual downfall and left the community in uncertainty. Henyard's administration was frequently at odds with both the Dalton Village Board of Trustees and local residents. Town meetings often descended into chaos, with trustees accusing her of abusing her power and undermining transparency and cooperation. In response, Henyard fought back with claims of sabotage, leading to heated confrontations. In one particularly explosive moment, Henyard stormed out of a board meeting after being heckled by both our trustees and residents. As she walked out, she shouted, "You should all be ashamed of yourselves." This outburst solidified her image as a leader, constantly at war, not only with her inner critics, but also with the political establishment she was once a part of. Her combative nature was not limited to their council meetings. On social media, she became known for live-streamed rants where she lashed out at opponents, labeling them enemies of progress. She frequently accused her critics of acting out of jealousy or personal grievances, a claim that resonated with some supporters, but also raised questions about her professionalism. These public tirades made her a polarizing figure. Some residents admired her resilience, while others saw her behavior as unbecoming of an elected official. As tensions grew, accusations of retaliation and retribution surfaced. Critics claimed that Henyard used her position to silence dissent and punish those who opposed her. Allegations emerged that she had leveraged lawsuits, public shaming, and township resources to target individuals or groups who spoke out against her. This pattern of retaliation only deepened the division within the community. Her supporters remained loyal, arguing that she was a bold and innovative leader who had been unfairly attacked. However, her detractors saw her as a corrupt politician who had misused public funds and abused her power for personal gain. As Dalton and Thornton Township move forward, the impact of Henyard's scandal-plagued leadership will continue to shape the future of both communities. Her downfall has forced many to reconsider the importance of government accountability, financial oversight, and ethical leadership. Whether the townships can rebuild trust and restore stability remains uncertain, but one thing is clear. Tiffany Henyard's political career will forever be remembered as one of controversy, division, and scandal.